Well, lots to talk about here. We have a few minutes between the two games. Of course, just as we went on air, the Sunrisers have completed a clinical victory. Nothing spectacular. They didn't need to be. But the important part was that Aiden Markram and Nicholas Puran stayed together. That's all we had asked. If you were a Sunrisers fan, that's what they did. And they finished things off. We'll obviously talk about that. But at the same time, let's tell you about the other match that's coming up. That's Gujarat against Chennai. And the big news coming in from there is that Hardik Pandya didn't walk out to toss. The little groin problem we saw the other day has continued to plague him, and they're not taking a risk for this particular game. So Rashid Khan went out to toss, and it means that obviously a couple of changes were necessitated. We'll tell you about that as we join our panel on Cricbuzz Live. Michael Vaughan and Lisa Sthalekar join me. Let's just quickly tell you about the news from the next game that's coming up, gentlemen and lady. Michael, the other day, Pommy was on the show. I think it was just yesterday, and I was saying, listen, don't worry about Hardik. He just said it's a cramp. And Pommy said, no, that is not just a cramp. He is not going to be playing. I said, listen, Pommy calmed, and he wasn't calm at all, and that's why.
Yeah, Pommy would have had his ears to the ground. He obviously knew. I mean, you can see, when Hardik went off, it wasn't cramp. You could see that there was more of an issue. Could he have played as a batter? It clearly is a real problem when he's got a groin issue that he can't just play as a batter. But they've done the right thing. If there's any kind of doubt that, it could worsen and could put him out for 2 or 3 weeks, you're better off missing a week and then getting it sorted and coming back. He's such an important player for them. Now we see Rashid Khan as captain. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, they've got their next game on Saturday, so there's plenty of time for them to recover, for Hardik to recover and get in there. But what it does mean, Lisa, a couple of quick changes have been necessitated. Alzari Joseph finally gets a game, and to balance out that extra overseas player coming in, the one change we've been probably foreseeing for a while is Matthew Wade now makes way for Riddhiman Saha to come in there with their four overseas.
Yeah, you wonder if the change has been made because Hardik isn't playing. We were just talking off air. I thought Matthew Wade was probably walking the fine line, and either he was going to be changed this game or he was going to be given another opportunity. He doesn't find that way, but Alzari Joseph gets an opportunity. I think he played for Rajasthan. Was it last year or the year before? Did he?
Mumbai. Yeah, he played for Mumbai. That's where he had an up and down scenario. Yes. He had the best figures, and then he got hit. Then he got an injury. Then Mumbai looked after him. So he's had his experience.
Yeah, and the first time I actually came across him was in the Under-19 World Cup. So we like the raw pace about him, but like most young fast bowlers, they take a little bit of time to get their line and lengths right, and also physically their body right to be able to cope with the demands of international cricket and obviously all of these T20 leagues. So fingers crossed that he comes in and has an impact straight away.
Well, he'll be up first because to give you the toss news, Rashid Khan has done his first bit of his job properly. He's won the toss, and of course for evening games, we're not going to contest that. He's asked Chennai to bat first. Last time around, Chennai put on a mountain of runs, but I guess we're not going to contest that for the moment. Decent looking bowling attack up with Alzari Joseph, Lockie Ferguson, Rashid Khan, Mohammad Shami. That you wouldn't mind bowling first with that?
No, plenty of pace, and obviously the captain himself. You've got to say that the best leg spinner in T20 cricket in the world. So yeah, the attack's good. They're a good team. They've been playing some good cricket. I just think Hardik's a massive miss. He's such a good player. He's been batting so well. He's been captaining well. The likes of David Miller. He's got to step up to the plate now. And I think that the way, as Lisa said, removal from the side was purely because Hardik can't obviously play, he can't bowl, so they need a few more overs, and Alzari Joseph is that option. So on paper they still look a strong side, and when you've been winning and playing with confidence, yes, you've lost your star player, but generally that confidence carries on through the rest of the side. So I still think they'll put in a decent show tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Rashid Khan has been part of franchise cricket. He knows what it is to lead his national side as well. But Lisa, when you lose three aspects together, captain, batsman who was batting in the top four, and someone who's opening the bowling, that has to be a bit of a blow.
Yeah, a huge loss. And you've got to remember at the start of this IPL, the fact that Hardik was controlling the batting and being able to set a total or chase, but then also the overs he was bowling, he was opening the bowling as well. So, it's great to be able to be your skipper and you can just do whatever you want and then in the field. So I know Simon Doull's probably been talking a lot here on Cricbuzz Live about remodelling his action in time off and whether he's done it, and question marks whether, when Hardik Pandya is fit and firing, the Indian side is going really well as well. So this is concerning for him, and it would be frustrating for him and also the new franchise.
Yeah, Indian fans will be looking at it just as intently as Gujarat fans will be, because when he first bowled that 140-kilometer delivery, Indian fans were going, okay, slow down, Hardik, take it easy. We're thinking October, we're thinking November. We need you fit for that. But as Michael said, I mean, they're probably going to be able to put that aside. At least, Michael, for this is where you consider yourselves fortunate that you've started well and you're at the top half of the table.
Yeah, and that's important. You've got wins under your belt, and as I said, that confidence will have spread throughout the whole squad. Hardik's like your League Pro. Our League Pro season starting just now. The Saturday afternoon club cricket, where you have a pro like Hardik that does everything. That's what you pay the money for back here in the UK. And unfortunately, they'll miss their League Pro this afternoon, but there's still a lot of quality, and it's that bowling lineup. If anything, Hardik's been bowling great, but Alzarri Joseph is such a good bowler that with that pace, obviously, if there's any kind of zip in the surface tonight when you've got Ferguson, Shami and Joseph, get ready if you're a Chennai batsman, because the ball might be fizzing past the earlugs.
Yeah. What about the opposition? The captain walked out, all smiles, celebrating his anniversary. So happy anniversary to Ravindra Jadeja. And well, hopefully that will end up in a win for him. But it seems a little more relaxed after that win, Lisa. And of course, they've kept their team unchanged. Yeah,
I mean, they've got to be on cloud nine, don't they? I mean, what Shivan Dubey and Robin Uthappa were able to do, you kind of sit back and go, great. If they can find that form again, or even half of that, we're all right. And if Gaikwad can get going, then their opening duo will be formed, and that's what they've been missing. They've been missing runs at the top, missing someone else going other than Uthappa. So they trust, they know a formula that has worked well. Hence why they've stuck with pretty much the same type of group of players, and their belief in their players always gets tested every year. Yet, I think back to Shane Watson when he scored absolutely nothing, and then he peels off, that was it 100 in the final. So, I mean, so their faith in those players mean that hopefully they're going to come good. And after a victory, hopefully Uthappa and Dubey can rub off on the rest of them.
And what a victory it was. It was, it was again almost un-Chennai-like. If there's one more team other than Hyderabad who we talk about not dealing in necessarily big totals, it probably would have been Chennai over the years. And the fact that they won by batting first, putting so many runs on the board, would again stand them in good stead because they're batting first tonight.
Yeah, it's copy and paste, isn't it? You want to try and do exactly the same, but you probably don't want to get into so much trouble early and rely on such an incredible partnership. Moeen Ali's got to be, thinking about being a bit more consistent. They've shown a huge amount of faith in Moeen Ali. Wonderful cricketer, great all-round ability with the bat, with the ball. He likes to be really aggressive, and I think he'd be looking to be a bit more consistent for them. But again, on paper, they're not quite the formidable side. I mean, you've got obviously MS Dhoni still there, but he's not the MS Dhoni as the captain and as the player that was. Chris Jordan, he's been struggling a little bit. His death bowling's not quite been to scratch. And then you've got the captain himself just finding his way. So that team on paper, it's just missing a few little pieces that have been there over the last few years that used to intimidate the opposing side. I'm not too sure where the teams get intimidated by Chennai Super Kings anymore. Of course, they're dangerous, they can beat you, but the intimidation factor, I think it's dwindling a little bit.
Could that even work in their favor, Lisa?
Yeah, as in that they've normally been able
as in
intimidate.
they're not intimidating when they come at you, but then someone like a Shivam Dubey just stands there and smashes it everywhere, and a friendly Robin Uthappa also smashes it everywhere.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, everyone, we know in the IPL you can't take any team lightly because they'll come and bite you before you know it. Even Tikshana as well, he comes in and he picked up 4 for the last game. So they're still trying to they're trying to figure out, aren't they, what their actual playing 11 is, who's going to have an impact, and it's with the ball. It's all departments, hence why they've only won 1 game. But I think they're still trying to figure out who can have an impact now, more so with the ball. And if a DJ Bravo, Tikshana can go well, then and Chris Jordan, then they're in with a chance.
But of course, I know it sounds repetitive and we keep saying it every game, but I think it begs to be said that they've got that 1 win, but they're not going to have the services of Deepak Chahar for the rest of the tournament. His name has been removed from the squad, and that'll be a big blow, Michael, for them. But they've quickly got to regroup and find, okay, who is the person who can play even a similar kind of role?
Yeah, huge blow. And you generally seem to get this kind of misfortune when you're not on a winning streak and you're not playing quite as well. You just seem to get all the rub of the green going against you, but they're going to have to cope with that. You look at tonight. Yes, they've not got Chahar, but they're playing a Gujarat side without Hardik Pandya. That's a massive rub of the green in their favour, not having to play against Hardik, who's in great form. They've got to capitalise. They have to win again tonight. They've got to get on the roll. It was only a few games ago that we were looking at the Sunrisers having not won any of the first 2 games, thinking, they've got no chance in this year's IPL. They really haven't got any kind of formations going, and they've just won 4 on the trot. Chennai have got to get on a similar roll. They have to win tonight. They have to continue with the momentum, and they have to continue in that vein of that partnership that we've just spoken about. The Dubey-Uthappa partnership was magnificent. Can they get it a bit earlier within that top 3 and create that foundation? Because it's very rare that partnership happens. That's a 1 in, I don't know, I'm guessing, 1 in 25, 1 in 30 chance. They need to be a bit more solid at the top of the order.
And if it's solid at the top of the order, one name comes to mind. You rewind to everything he did in the Gulf, and he was near invincible, was Ruturaj Gaikwad. And that gave a start. Of course, they had Faf du Plessis in there, but that Gaikwad-du Plessis combo was just so lethal. Lisa, I know he doesn't have a familiar face at the other end, but Robin's a nice guy. I'm sure they can get to know each other, spend a bit of time in the middle.
Yeah, he probably needs to stop getting couple of peaches of deliveries, or he's finding the fielders all the time, or the dives are coming in and they're taking him. So I do really feel for him, but he hasn't had this bad a start, has he? So I know he's had probably 3 games before where he didn't really fire, and then he just went ballistic. So I'm sure he can flick the switch. They trust in him. They trust in his ability. We've seen what he's been able to do at this level before. And he's so elegant to watch, and he can play such an impactful innings. So I hope for Chennai fans and for fans of cricket that he gets going.
Yeah. For everyone already jumping up and down and celebrating that 200 plus in the previous game, just remember it was of a rare partnership, as Michael just put it. It's not going to happen every day. Some runs from Moeen Ali, some runs from Ruturaj Gaikwad, and then you can add a few more from Shivam Dubey, Robin Uthappa, MS Dhoni. Take your pick. But let's look at the points table. That'll be important. Chennai, the reason why Michael Vaughan kept reiterating they just have to start winning now is they're 2 points from 5 games. They can get on the kind of roll that Hyderabad have got on. It won't be long before they're in that mix. They're in that logjam, and that's where they want to be. As far as their opposition are concerned, they're doing pretty well. They're right at the top. They can tell themselves, okay, we'll let our captain rest for one match. But Hyderabad, the reason why you're seeing them on 8 points is because they finished a clinical victory. We didn't have much time to talk about that because it finished as we came on air, Lisa. But I know we like to say it that way. It is Kane Williamson, and it was a very New Zealand-type victory. They did the job with the ball, they restricted them, and then they just finished things off the the way they do.
Sorry, I missed that one.
A very New Zealand type victory for Kane Williamson's men.
Yeah, it was. You look at the total. They won the toss. They elected to bowl. We all thought it was a type of Michael Vaughan and I thought it was a 180 plus. You were a little bit more on Kane Williamson's side, but the main thing was that they were able to keep them to a modest total, and we've seen that Hyderabad have been able to chase down those totals when it's in their wheelhouse. Again, they didn't go hard in the power play. They spent time partnerships building. And not exposing their middle order too early. And the problem for Punjab was they couldn't take wickets, even though the pitch started to turn. But Abhishek Sharma is looking good. Rahul Tripathi, I mean, surprise was Kane Williamson going that early, and you thought, hang on, is the door open for Punjab? But they were able to kind of seal the deal with Aidan Markram and Nicholas Puran, just ensuring that they didn't take too many risks in chasing down the total.
I mean, Markram and Puram completed the job, Michael, but you'd have to say, despite them having restricted Punjab, and it was not a 200 or a 180 type pitch, they almost could have and should have got there. And then it would have been even more challenging. So you'd have to give credit to Kane Williamson's captaincy, his bowling unit, for setting up the road for his batsmen.
Yeah, it was very much a typical Sunrisers performance where they squeezed in the field, tactically brilliant by Kane Williamson, knowing when to use Umran Malik, when to use Bhubaneswar Kumar, just tinkering at the right times, setting really clever fields, protecting certain sides of the ground. That's what he does. And when they're asked to chase that kind of total, they've got the skill levels and the mentality more so, and they take egos out of it. You know, the way that Kane plays and the way that Aidan Markram play is so important to that side because they don't play with any kind of ego. They just knock it around, allow the firecrackers to come out and hit. Again, Tuatu, his innings today was a really important innings, 34 from 22, because it was just getting to that stage of, you know, the rate starting to just up a little bit, and then all of a sudden he starts to hit the boundary, and then Nicholas Puran and Markham, you know, they're not getting out. You know, they're chasing these totals that they don't have to take too many big risks, and they're getting over the line and seeing it through, and that's a real big talking point in any dressing room that you always say, if you get the chance to see it through to the end, be there, not out, you know, shake the opposing player's hands. And, you know, that takes a lot of skill, a lot of mentality. And Markram and Puran, it's a regular occurrence at the minute where they're getting over the line and shaking the opposing player's hands. It's a really high-class team performance once again from the Sunrisers.
Well, no team has got this 4-4, Lisa, so that's going to be really huge for them. 2 losses on the trot to start with, and then 4-4. It's the M word we don't like using on the show here, but from time to time we have to bring it up.
Well, let's say they've got confidence now, and they can build on that confidence. A happy dressing room and a winning dressing room means that you're more likely to put in good performances the next match, and they've got that. They've found almost the winning formula for them. They've only been tested really the once when they've chased and they've had to chase something over that 175 mark, and maybe the pitches, we're getting closer to the halfway stage, will start to turn and be a little bit slower, and maybe that will suit Hyderabad a little bit more.
Yeah, very briefly, just to finish off the Punjab bowling. I'm not sure if there was enough for them to have done towards the end of it. But certainly when we started the innings, Michael, we were saying, look, there is something in there. Rahul Chahar did it, picked up 2 wickets. Kagiso Rabada, on paper it looked good, but was it just too clinical and maybe 20 runs too little for them to play with?
Yeah, I just don't think it was enough. And also the fielding, I didn't think the fielding was anything quite like what it could have been. They could have easily saved 10 runs in the field, which would have been a potential difference in the match. But I thought the bowling was okay. I just didn't think the batters got anywhere near what was a par score. Another 15-20 and better fielding. I think that game would have been a lot closer.
Yeah, fair enough. But I think we'd make an exception on this particular show to say we will use the M word only because the victory was all about the two M's. It was Malik and Makram who did it for the Sunrisers, so we can say momentum a few times. Come on, they've got the momentum. I'll say it a couple of times because I think they deserve it. So the two M's did it for them, and Hyderabad with 4 on the trot are now climbing and looking dangerous. All that remains on this particular show is for, well, how many runs are Gujarat going to get? Gujarat can't get any runs right now because it's Chennai who are batting. Rashid Khan has won the toss. Sort yourself out. And Chennai will be batting. So, Lisa, how many are Chennai going to get in their 20 overs?
163.
Ooh, that's very close to where I intended to be. While Michael looked away, I was having a little whisper with his tech team, and they sort of said,
"Well, I'm going to speak to them. I didn't speak to them before the first game. They'd had a late night. They've not they've only just arrived for their work today. So they're saying 174.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they're a bit hungover.
That's why they're loyalists with you, Michael, because, or maybe it was the accent I didn't get, because they were suggesting to me stick to the original formula, which was 160. But they said, don't tell Michael you've spoken to us. So obviously they know they've got an equation going there, so I won't get in the way of them. But I'll go low. I'll go low this time. I'll 163. I'll go into the 150s. 154. 154 is what I'll go for. That combination of Ferguson, Shami, and now Alzari Joseph, Rashid Khan to follow. Yash Dayal took 3 wickets in the previous match. So I'm going low, 154 for Chennai. But then I'm not suggesting anything about the result. It could still be up for grabs. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Lisa. We've packed in a lot in this crossover show. We'll see you in the 10th over as Chennai look to get some sort of a total on the board. That's all we have on Cricbuzz Live.